Hello everyone. How are you? It is me, Lauren Cadillac, aka OG Cadillac, aka Mother of the Decade, coming at you live today. It is Monday, December 2nd, and we are about to watch the Sarah Boone sentencing. Good morning, Deborah. Good morning, everyone. I do not understand why these pop-ups are coming up. Sorry about the noises. Oh, gosh, you guys, I am so excited. So, as you recall, Sarah was found guilty. That was like over a month ago. If you recall, her legal team said that she was, and I quote, shocked at the results. What is there to be shocked about? Well, I guess if you are a narcissist and you believe so strongly in your own innocence, then maybe there is in fact something to be shocked about. And so I think that's why she was shocked, because I see Sarah as a full-blown narcissist. My understanding is that at one point she was doing a psych eval, and she told the psychologist or psychiatrist, whatever it was, that she was an assistant to the CEO, when in reality she was a receptionist. She answered phones, and she told everyone she was an assistant to the CEO. So she has a very, very grandiose view of herself and who she is in this world, and it is incorrect. She's just dead ass wrong. Okay, so where we left off, Sarah was found guilty of murder, and today, hi Jimmy, hey Deborah, welcome, thank you for joining us. Okay, so today, Sarah is going to be sentenced. Now, I am not sure if the jury does the sentencing or the judge. I am not 100% sure on that. But something I am sure of is that if the judge is doing the sentencing, one thing he will most assuredly keep in mind and take into consideration is all of the letters that Sarah wrote. Okay, you remember she was like a letter writing fiend, okay? Her first letter was about a year in. She was very irritated with how long the process was taking. Personally, that first letter, I feel like is a letter any of my clients would have written. All right, so here's one of the letters. You know, she's just sending letter after letter. I mean, look on the search. It's just letter after letter after letter that she's sending to the court, to the judge. Now, the first letter expressed her frustration with the process. It was like, I've been in jail for a long time now. When am I going to get a trial? And that's the letter I think really I could see any of my clients writing, honestly, especially if they're dealing with probate in Dallas. Okay. The people do not understand before they interact with the court system and our government that as a society that is founded on a disdain for taxes, and if you don't believe me, reference the Boston Tea Party, okay? We have a disdain for taxes in our culture, in American society. And so as a country with such disdain for taxes and taxation, it always surprises me that people are surprised that our government does not function well and that it's not efficient and effective. We're spending $0.00 on this shit. Of course it's inefficient. So her first letter, honestly, any of my clients could have written. I could have written in my first year out of law school and in practice. Like, what is taking so long? What takes so long? And really, it's just that it's our government, and we're not really out here paying. We are not paying a ton of money for these services. So her first letter made sense, okay? It's why she lost her first lawyer, because if I'm your counsel and I represent you and you write to the judge behind my back, we're done. We are over. It's a breakup. So I understand why her attorney withdrew at that point, the first attorney to withdraw. I totally get it. And then after that was just letter after letter after letter after letter. Hey, Torta Mom, I'm glad to see you too. I'm glad to be able to make you laugh on a Monday. So it's my understanding that in any minute now, the court is going to open these cameras and call into session and do the sentencing for Sarah Boone. And as I was just recapping for you, her trial was so brief. It was like a week, so brief. She got found guilty in like a number of hours. It was very short, very short. I knew it was going to be that night. She trapped the dude was locked in a suitcase. Any reasonable human would have taken him out of the suitcase before they went off to bed. I mean, it's just crazy. And I watch other YouTubers. I saw someone, insulting a defense attorney's technique on in the defense for the XXX and he's like, those guys are on video. Well, yeah, they're on video. So our the job of the defense attorney is to really actually grab at straws and try to find anything that can defend their client. And that is kind of the position that Sarah Boone's lawyer was in. You have this video of her laughing at Jorge. Ha ha ha, this is what you get. That's how it feels. He says, I can't breathe. Well, that's how I feel when you do this. And all this wild shit. And she is just so narcissistic, it doesn't register in her brain that she basically has a confession. She has the whole thing on video. So she thinks she's going to walk free. I mean, it's crazy. Torta, this one was crazy. She zipped him to his death. What was most impactful in the Sarah Boone trial for me was the part where the prosecution brought out the suitcase and started to try to unzip it and asked Sarah to come down off the stand, and neither of them could unzip it. It took the prosecution, I don't know, like 10, 15 minutes, not that long. It took some time though. It took enough time, and it displayed that there's no way you could have been inside the suitcase and unzipped it. Just no way you could have been inside that suitcase and unzipped it. The fact of the matter is, Sarah.
Hey everyone, it's me.
They could barely unzip it in front of the jury, on the outside of it. I'm trying to look for a video I had. They could barely unzip it from the outside. Now, if I'm a juror and I see these two adults trying to unzip this suitcase and they just can't, and they're on the outside of it, when am I going to think about the person on the inside? I'm going to think that person, there's no way that person could have unzipped themselves. Let's see if I can find it. See if I can find. The jury made the decision in less than an hour.
Stop smashing Amazon's buy button and start getting Amazon to pay you instead.
instead. But
Ms. Boone, can you demonstrate for the jury where Mr. Torres' head
position.
when you say that was zipped shut, show us.
Are you talking about how I zipped it, or?
When you're done zipping it shut and he's inside of it, where are the zipper components?
Look how hard, look at her struggle. Look at her struggle, and she is on the outside. She is on the outside.
I mean, it was the corner.
And now her lawyer has to come help her.
I mean, it's not. Yes, this one was already pretty much dead. From what I can remember. That's how he was coming with his hand out. It was like this from the corner part.
You got three people working.
During the cross-examination.
3 people trying to unzip the suitcase from the outside. 3 human adults on the outside of the suitcase could not open it. No wonder it took less than an hour. If I was on that jury, I'd be like, I mean, the minute I saw the video, if I was on the jury, honestly, the minute I saw the video of her laughing at him, I would be irritated. Like, why am I here? Why are we doing a whole trial when we know she zipped him? Okay, Ben Aaron, if the zipper has rusted over the last 4 years, tell me how. Tell me how. The police came to that house. They found Jorge outside of the suitcase because Sarah had pulled him out, I believe. And they then took the suitcase, they sealed it up, and they put it in an evidence locker. So tell me how that zipper rusted. Nothing had changed. That's exactly how the suitcase looked on the day. She testified. That's exactly how the suitcase looked and appeared on the day she zipped Jorge into it, okay? So there is, if I'm on this jury, first I see the video, I'm irritated. Why am I even here? We already know she did it. Why am I even here? We already know she did it. I don't need the video. I already know. Secondly, I see them attempt to unzip that suitcase, and I see them attempt in that way, and I see them have to struggle. The only reason the jury needed an hour is because you have to, like, introduce yourselves. Because they had to say, hey, I'm Lauren. I do this. I live in this area. I have 2 kids. And there were 6 of them. Oh, I'm so-and-so. I do this. I have 3 kids. I'm so-and-so. I'm a grandma of 4. I'm so-and-so. I'm a grandpa. That's it. Because it was that cut and dry. It was that easy. No, Ben, the humidity did not affect this thing over the time. There's no way Jorge would have been able to get out of that damn suitcase. Yes, there's humidity everywhere in Florida, yes, but this was stored indoors in a place with air conditioning, all right? So no. Jorge was stuck in that suitcase. They were going to get rid of that suitcase because it was old and trashed and the zipper had an issue. And the jury got to see 3 grown adults struggle on the outside of the suitcase. And I am sure it was very easy for them to imagine the inside of that suitcase. Yeah, Torta, I do think they are made to not rust. I think you would have to leave that outside for quite a while for it to rust. Crazy. It's crazy. And that doesn't even touch on how many times she changed her story. I haven't even touched on how many times she changed the story about what happened. I haven't even touched on the witnesses, the neighbors coming in as witnesses saying they heard like the loudest thud they'd ever heard. They used to hear these people fight. Hey, another CG, good to see you. This was the easiest job a jury ever did have. This was not like the young thug jury who has like 8 days of just charges to go through. The Sarah Boone jury had it easy. Almost too easy. So easy that if I were a juror, I would have been irritated. I missed work for this. Come on, lady. You should have taken a plea. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We are just still waiting now for the court to come into session. They are 10 minutes behind. Hopefully they don't fall too much far behind because I have to leave soon. I have a CLE in another town, so I have to leave very, very soon. Hopefully this doesn't take too much longer waiting here. Come on, guys. Right, Ben. So Ben says on her 911 call, Sarah said she put him in the suitcase, and then later she said he got inside voluntarily. And that's the thing. Her story literally changed every time she told it. Every time she told a story, it was different. Every single time. So it's not good. It wasn't good. And then she comes out with this whole, well, it was self-defense. If you are over, I don't know, 35 years old, and you shove your body into a suitcase, the size that was like a medium suitcase, there is no way that you, human being over 35, are going to be able to hop out of said suitcase and attack someone. Like, if I even got into like actual fetal position right now, it might take a good hour to get out of it. The last thing I'm able to do is pop out and hit you. So what are you afraid of? There was no self-defense. And I'm sure her lawyers wanted this totality. You know, she had this general fear. She had this overall fear. Maybe it wasn't in that moment. But like, no, it doesn't work. If you're so afraid of him, why are you getting drunk with him? Another CG, who knows? Maybe she's changing lawyers last minute. Who knows where they are? They are 12 minutes late, though. Ben says, at interrogation, she claimed it was unintentional over and over, but for her self-defense, she claimed so. She did intentionally. I know. And I don't know. I want to say that that's because she had this new team come in and they had less than 30 days to prepare and so on and so on. But the reality is Sarah's story changed everywhere along the way because she was lying. You know, she was lying. And sometimes you got to pop out and show them. When I was like 19, I could have wadded up into a ball and then popped out and showed somebody business. But I am into my 40s as Jorge or George was. And no, 40-year-olds don't be popping out. You hit 35, there's no popping, honey. There's no popping out. There's no popping up. The only thing that pops are my joints every time I try to stand up. I believe that at one point the judge had he even questioned that. He's like, this is self-defense. Like, what was she afraid of? He was in a suitcase. Like, how was he going to hurt her? So, what will be interesting is if any of this information is considered in her sentencing. So if the judge considers the sentencing, how many times her story changed, I think is going to be part of that. I think we're looking at the full, she's facing, I think, 22 years. She's going to get every minute of it in my mind. Every minute of it. And obviously she'll get credit for time served, but I just cannot see this woman like walking free. I don't see her, I don't know, man. I just don't. I see her spending every minute of possible jail time that she could spend in jail.
Where's that?
It's very interesting. It's very interesting. So I'm trying to see if it started anywhere else because we're still waiting. No, okay. Now, I did some interviews with this local Fox 35 about Sarah Boone, so we'll watch their stream. Oh, okay, this was earlier today. Not sure.
Presented to him, and as long as she got effective assistance.
Okay. So I don't know who this attorney is, but I'm sure he's talking about, I just heard him say effective assistance of counsel. So, one thing that happens as a defendant, one of the things you can bring up on appeal is that you had ineffective assistance of counsel. And in Sarah's case, she can make a decent argument that having her counsel only have 30 days to prepare for the trial, that would cause, an ineffective counsel. Her problem in making that argument is that she had like 6 lawyers. And all of them are good. All of them have like a long history. And so it's not the argument necessarily to make, okay? And in order to make the ineffective assistance of counsel, she has to have a new lawyer. Okay, so she's probably going to have the same lawyer for the sentencing, is my guess. And then after sentencing, she already asked for a new trial. That's your first step to go to appeal. So after her sentencing, I think that is when she is going to actually file the appeal. And in order for her to properly file an appeal and to have the appeal she needs, really, she's going to have to claim ineffective assistance of counsel, which means she has to have a different lawyer. You can't go in as the ineffective lawyer and say, oh yeah, I was ineffective. No. That's not gonna work. So you have to have a new lawyer to say, oh, that lawyer was ineffective. Now, I had seen something on Twitter, which is now called X, which I hate, but Doug Weinstein had asserted that he is Yak Gotti's defense attorney in the YSL case. So Doug Weinstein, Yak Gotti's attorney, asserted that if there is an appeal, he and his team are backing off because part of the appeal will be a claim of ineffective counsel, and you can't make that claim against yourself. Like, gee, judge, they deserve an appeal because I did a terrible job. That's not how it works. Now, is Doug going to be offended by the potential of Yak Gotti appealing and saying that it was will Doug get offended if Yak says it was ineffective counsel? No. You're a defense attorney. You know that part of your job is to step back and allow another lawyer to make that argument. If I have a lawyer come in on a case of mine and they take over and they need to say I did a bad job, I don't care. Go for it. Say I did a bad job. You got to do what you got to do for your client, right? And you want your client to win. And you want, in Doug's case, at least with Yak Gotti, he wants his client to get out on appeal and win on appeal. So, if you say ineffective counsel, you can make that statement, certainly, but you have to have a new lawyer to make it for you. Okay, so it looks like they're coming in. She's seated. She still has James Owens by her side. We don't have any sound yet. We're watching court TV this go round. They were a little late in seating everyone. Maybe judge had a long lunch. Who knows? How's she look? She looks exactly the same. We don't have any sound coming out of the courtroom yet, but here we go. Ben makes a very good point, and he says there were many times that Sarah had claimed she was injured from an accident, and now she's saying that it was George beating her. So you really cannot have your cake and two, guys. If you probably want to be truthful. If a man is abusing you or a woman is abusing you, you probably want to be truthful about that, because if you have to go back and kill them in self-defense someday, you want a record out there. you know? So you want, I don't know. All right, let's see. I think the judge only is doing this sentencing. I don't think the jury has to come back for that. That would be awful. If I was a juror, I would be so irritated if I had to come back for sentencing. Okay, here's George's family. I'm sure they're going to want some time. I'm guessing this is George's family. I don't even know who these people are. I just said that. This lady has a badge on. She's not family. I wonder what they're looking at. Oh, Mr. Owens' phone. I can't see. It looks like the record or something. Now, there were times when Owens did some terrible arguments, so I don't know. There might actually be a decent ineffective assistance of counsel claim on Sarah's part, honestly. Because there were times when Owens did some shit. I was like, did he just get his license? Like, is this his first time ever practicing law? There were some definitely questionable things he did there during the trial. So, I don't know. She might have a decent appeal, or she might have a decent cause for appeal under that. But I don't think so. I mean, you have a whole video where she's saying, you know, screw you, George. That's how you made me feel. Unless there's some gross error. I really didn't see a lot of error. The judge made good calls. The judge always had, like, the law to back his calls. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't see her winning on appeal. Okay. Thank you, everyone that's watching. You could be watching on any channel, but you've chosen mine. I appreciate you. Just so you know, we are demonetized. So if you want to donate, do it to lcadilac on Cashapp. I appreciate that. I will file an appeal. I have 10 days to put a video together. Just haven't had time to really think about it. Been going to court quite a bit lately, settling cases quite a bit lately is very exciting. So unfortunately, I have not been able to deal with the YouTube administration, but I will. Maybe they said 12:30, but they meant 1. Or I mean 2. Maybe they said 1:30, they meant 2, because still waiting. Also, I can finally use the Chevron print again. I'm so excited. Thank you, Supreme Court, for overturning the Chevron doctrine. That was so un-American to begin with. On a side note, while we wait, I had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I hope all of you did too. My son came and visited me, and I just absolutely loved that. And it was really nice to hang out with him, and I got to show him the new studio. You know, I'm in my studio filming, so he sat here in this chair, showed him on camera what he would look like if he was filming. But, you know, he's not really interested in being known across the internet, so. I'm sure Sarah's getting along just fine in jail. Did everyone else have a great Thanksgiving? While we wait. Anyone who's following the YSL trial, while we wait over here for Sarah, tell me when you think they're going to have a verdict. I know, Candace. Yes, they demonetized me. I'm trying to figure out why so that I can respond to it. It is messed up. It's so whack. Such is life. That's what happens when you allow a giant corporation to have control over you. Or one of your income streams. That's all right. We'll find other ways to earn the money, y'all. I know they demonetized me right as I got my studio set up, got my decor, my lighting, everything. The mic is set. I mean everything, and then they said, "No more money for you." I'm like, how am I going to pay for this?
There are many advantages to having an outdoor
Jeez,
kitchen,
holy
and
crap.
Barbecue Guys has all you need.
Sorry, guys. So towards the mom, I know you've been watching YSL with me. I think on the YSL, I've been thinking, I truly thought they would have a verdict before Thanksgiving, honestly. But then today they asked for the footage of, oh, here we go. Today they asked for the footage of the stoplight, if the Shannon Stillwell ran. And last week they asked for Yak Gotti's footage. So I think they were doing Yak last week and now they're on to Stillwell. I was thinking maybe they were going to try to get until next year. Like, well, let's just drag this jury duty along. But now that they asked for that video of Stillwell at the stoplight, I'm like, well, maybe we'll have a damn verdict this week. Honestly, I don't know. So up in the air. We do know we're about to see Sarah Boone get sentenced, so thank you everyone that's joining me. I'm Lauren Cadillac, aka OG Cadillac, aka Mother of the Decade, and we are at this watching the Sarah Boone sentencing live right now. That's got to be one of Jorge's relatives. He looks just like him. All right, Judge, let's get this party started. I don't think the jury's going to be there, and the reason I say that is because she is in her her jail clothes. And typically, we do not allow witnesses and defendants to be in jail clothes in front of juries. Oh, Torta, I didn't see that they had asked for lyrics. That's very interesting. That is that makes me a little nervous. Particularly because the lyrics were often written long before the crime. So in my mind, it doesn't matter necessarily what the lyrics are unless the lyrics came out after the crime. So that is interesting. Another one out of Florida, I'm not sure if y'all have been watching, but the YNW Melly, YNM. There's too many letters that look similar to me. But the Melly case, the Supreme Court, my understanding, has done a show cause, and they are asking why his trial hasn't occurred, because he's been in prison for like 7 years. So that's very interesting and something I am watching to see what's going on there. Sarah looks a little too excited to me, doesn't she? James looks serious. He knows she's going to jail for 22 years. YNW, okay. But then his name is Melly, which is an M, which kind of looks like N, but is like the upside down W, so it just throws my little brain like all kinds of places. I feel like I'm like crooked. All right, Judge, let's get this party started. I'm also following P. Diddy. I'm going to do another video about him because he's been denied bail 3 times now. As well as following the Idaho college murder, that guy who allegedly killed the 4 children who were at college in Idaho. Brian Koberger, I think is his name. Anyhow, he is facing a firing squad. Not only do they have the death penalty in Ohio, it's death by firing squad. Is that not crazy? Firing squad, y'all. Crazy. That's so Spanish of them. That's so 1632 of them, isn't it? let's get this all rise, yo. Yes, a firing squad is kind of cool. Super archaic, though. Like old-fashioned as shit. I am hungry, y'all. Hey, Brooklyn Granny. I know it's crazy. I cannot believe in 2024 in the United States we have firing squads. Like, that's nuts. That is who is the people firing? Like whose job is that? Yeah, I'm on the firing squad for the death penalty. That's a weird job. I don't know, man. Y'all make sure you thumbs up, please, this video. I know we're demonetized, but we still need to show the algorithm gods that we're loved. So hit that like. If you aren't already, make sure you subscribe. Come on, y'all. Let's go. Let's get this going. You know, it's just thinking that the Court TV logo has that red fingerprint, right? And then the word TV. I'm going to start telling people that that's my fingerprint. Over the Court TV logo. I feel like this is like fake chatter between her and James Owens. Like they're like, see how the prosecutors aren't talking? They have nothing to say to each other. It's done. Case is closed. But I feel like Mr. Owens is over here, like this is like fake paperwork or something they're looking at. I don't know. It doesn't. He probably just doesn't want to be like alone talking to her. The hell? The sound just went? Crazy. Okay, Richard Allen. I'm gonna look that one up, Ben. I heard about the Delphi murders, but I didn't look into them at all. Like, I heard about it, but I don't know why you think it was unfair. It looks like it's pretty long. Indiana. Oh, they were in Delphi, Indiana. Okay. She said something about, can you not? I don't know your schedule. What did she say? Hold on, I need my other earphone. say something about paper towels? No, Torta, she is not saying I'm guilty. She thinks she's innocent. What? Who reads lips? Who's gonna be our lip reader? What's she saying? I don't know, Deborah. I don't think she's a mean girl. I don't think she's a Karen. I think she's too narcissistic to be doing that. Like, I mean, in that sense, she probably is a Karen. But I don't know. Like, she seems like a top level narcissist. We'll put it that way. She's really into herself. Okay, he is showing her text message. James Owens, for sure. We think he's telling her, like, yeah, Judge told us to be here at this time. Okay, hold on. Okay, here we go. I gotta go to the ad-free mode. Man, this judge is having us wait today, y'all. Jesus, he needs to hurry because I am starving. And I have to leave soon. Let me tell you something. If I was a judge, people would just be waiting for me all the time. I'd be late to everything. Oh, I told you 12:30. Oh, I meant 2:30. Sorry. I mean, why not? Oh. Why not ruin people's lives if you can? Maybe she won't be sentenced. Maybe we'll just sit here all day. Torta, Mom, this was scheduled for 1:30 Eastern. And it is now almost 1:30 Central, so we're 45 minutes late at this point. I mean, they need to hurry because the girl is about to starve. one thing that frustrates the hell out of my clients, and for good reason, is this. I'm paid hourly. I do civil work, so I'm paid hourly, right? So if a judge tells me a hearing is at 1:30, I got to get there at 1. I got to be there early. All right. And then I'm billing you like from the time I leave to the time I leave my office to the time I leave the courthouse. Okay. So this whole time that a client and I are just sitting here waiting for a judge, the client is paying for me. So in this case, if the judge is an hour late, if I'm an hour, I have to sit in that corner and wait for the judge for an hour. My client just paid me $350 because the judge was late. And like I was saying in the beginning, while we were waiting, Sarah's letter, her first letter, just expressed frustration with the legal system and how long things were taking and why is it taking this long. This here, right now, this hour late delay is a perfect example. A perfect example. This kind of stuff happens every day. And this costs, now my client has to pay me, here we go. Finally. 45 minutes late, and your client, this is me, my client's paying me to sit here and wait. These must be his interns. Okay, come on, Judge Kranick. Court is just always so delayed. Everything about court is delay. And today is a perfect example. And the judge is not going to own up to why he's late. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm 45 minutes late. No, he's not going to do that. Oh my God, now we're still waiting. Come on, Judge. Waiting. Come on, Judge, you can do it.
Yeah, go case.
Calling State of Florida versus Sarah Boone, 2020 CF 2603, State.
Dean Cashapp on behalf of the state.
Defendants.
William J. for the state.
Defense.
James Owens for Sarah Boone.
Ms. Boone is seated at counsel's table. Ma'am, if you could please raise your right hand, Madam Clerk is going to go ahead and swear you in.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do.
Ma'am, can you state your full name and date of birth for the record for us?
Sarah Boone, 10-10-77.
We are here for a sentencing. The jury returned a verdict on October 25, finding you, Ms. Boone, guilty of murder in the second degree. We're running a little bit late this afternoon. I apologize for that. I was in court all morning and took the opportunity to review all of your submittals from earlier this morning, Mr. Owens, including the victim or the character statements, the psychological evaluation by Dr. Harper, the motion for downward departure, the motion for new trial, and the state's response to same. Before we proceed with any sentencing in this matter, the court needs to address the defendant's motion for new trial and the state's response to the defendant's motion for new trial. Anything in addition you'd like to argue at this time, Mr. Owens, over and above what is contained in your motion, sir?
No, sir.
State.
No, sir.
All right, after reviewing the motion and the state's response the same, the defendant's motion for a new trial is denied. Based on the court's review of the record, the court's participation in the trial, the review of all the evidence, and the court's prior findings and rulings at trial and prior thereto. With that, I believe that we're prepared to proceed with sentencing at this time. The court has reviewed the pre-sentencing investigation prepared by the Department of Corrections. Are there any housekeeping matters that we need to address, Mr. J. or Mr. Cacciatore, before we proceed?
Not from the state.
Are there any housekeeping matters from your side of the ledger, sir, that we need to address, Mr. Owens?
Judge, I do have 4 late witnesses that testified. One of the 4 late witnesses wants to appear by Zoom. She lives up in Minnesota. I don't know if that's allowed.
We don't have an objection to that. One of our witnesses that will be providing an impact statement would also like to appear on the court's virtual link as well.
Okay, so stipulated. If you need it, just let Anita know, and I could have her email it to you right now, the link.
We do have the link. She's waiting to get on, I guess.
Who might it be, sir? Of several people
It
here.
should be Lana Albert.
She is here, sir. She's in the, she's viewing, her camera's off and she's, microphone is muted, but she's in the lobby. All right, with that, State, you may proceed.
Your Honor, at this time, we would like to take an impact statement from, I believe, Anna Torres, which you will be appearing virtually.
I see several guests, but I do not see a Anna Torres in the virtual lobby, sir.
Zoom is so convenient,
Well, maybe she's having some
except that people.
logging on. We have also
We can proceed with those first, sir.
I mean, Zoom is great until a person has to use it.
Please.
Is this Jorge's mom?
Ma'am, good afternoon. Could you state and spell your name for the record for us? Okay. Ma'am, you can go ahead.
I just want to tell Sarah Boone that I don't hate her for what she did. And I always remember that evening when that lady came into my door and she knocked at the door. She asked for my name. I told her my name. And then she said, "Can I come in?" I said, "Okay, yes." And she told me to sit down. I never think that was gonna be my son. And then she said my son was dead. Since that day, I can't sleep. It's hard for me to remember that moment. My son is not here no more. She don't only kill my son, she killed a father, a brother, an uncle. It's been hard.
Bet.
As a family, because all the brothers, they will always work together. But now it's like something real. Love is missing. Sometimes when I look out the window, I'm waiting for him to come and say, "Mom, I love you." She was always there. She come and called me. I miss that mommy. The last time that I talked to him was at 12 o'clock in January, New Year. He came to my bed and said, Mom. He woke me up and I said, Mom, I love you. Happy New Year. Since that day, I don't see him no more. He was my son. I love him. And I miss him a lot. My family miss him a lot too. But I don't hear. But you know what? I was blessed. She ain't gonna be blessed like me because I have my son. I raise him. I have his children, my granddaughter, my grandson, and she don't gonna be able to have that. And I did. I raised him. He wasn't perfect, but he was a good son. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. State anything further from this witness?
No, Your Honor.
Defense?
No, sir.
Thank you.
Oof, that's hard. That is very hard. I do not envy her. I never, ever, ever, ever want him to make a statement like that. Ooh, it made me emotional.
May I call your next victim impact statement?
I do.
Ma'am, could you state and spell your name for the record for us, please?
Victoria Torres. Victoria Torres. With my brother. Unfortunately, my family has experienced two horrifying tragedies. I just wanted to give that George deserves justice. As far as my other brother and Sarah deserve to rot in jail. Sarah has caused a lifetime of pain, a lifetime of horrible images, a lifetime of hearing my brother George plead for his life. This is just this moment for all of you. For me and my family, it's forever.
Oh.
Such a simple thing as using a suitcase.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
It's so triggering.
Mm.
I try not to close it all the way. I leave at least like 2 or 3 inches for the zipper. And it might sound crazy, but it just helps me.
Oh.
She really has flipped my family's life upside down. And I just hope that we can truly get justice for my brother. And I just want to tell the team thank you so much for everything they did. Thank you.
Thank you. State anything further?
No, Your Honor.
Defense?
No, sir.
Thank you.
Your Honor, could we see if Ms. Anna Torres has been able to make it online?
Do not see an Anna Torres in the lobby, sir. I have lots of guests, HHSA, Mr. Beck, Lana Albert, Jason Gunn.
Your Honor, is there a cap to the link as to the number of individuals?
Not to my knowledge. Yes.
Now that whole half hour plus that we were waiting, That would have been a good time to make sure everyone was on Zoom instead of now. Hey, Jason, good to see you. That statement was just so impactful. The George's mother crying, but his sister talking about not being able to use the suitcase. Like, I hadn't even thought of that. I mean, like, that's so basic. I carry a suitcase every day. It's my gym bag. This woman every day, if she was me, she wouldn't be able to carry it anymore. Like, it's crazy. It's horrible. They need this witness too. I guess this is probably one of Jorge's other sisters. Or I keep calling him Jorge because it's with a J. George. Victim impact statements are allowed in every case, and certainly the victims want to be able to be heard and have like their moment in court. But I feel like this is one of those cases, like, you don't even need a victim impact statement. Literally, you just have the judge, and if he paid attention. Okay, I knew she wasn't part of the family. Told you. See, Zoom is so great. It has done so much for us, for courts. Like, it's really made it a lot less expensive for our clients and all that. Because, you know, the whole 45 minutes you're waiting, if you're on Zoom, you could be doing other stuff, billing other things, not billing your client. But this is when Zoom sucks. Right here, when we're waiting for some middle-aged or older person to figure out how to get on Zoom, how to change their name so that the judge will let them in. I mean, it's... Ugh. That's what we're waiting on right now. Probably a baby boomer. And do you even need another, really? Do you need another victim impact statement after those two? Maybe, I don't know. I guess everyone wants to get off their chest, so you give them a chance.
Yes, sir, Mr. Cacciatore.
Your Honor, after speaking with Mr. Owens, due to the fact that the victim's daughter had difficulties with...
Is that her, Anna Victoria Torres?
Yes, sir.
Is that it? Is that who it is? All right, ma'am, good afternoon. Can you hear us?
Good afternoon. I can hear you.
Okay, could you please state and spell your name for the record?
My name is Anna Victoria Torres, ANAVICTORIATORRES.
Thank you, ma'am. I understand that you'd like to provide a statement to the court at this time. You may proceed.
Okay. Okay. So I'll be speaking for myself and my two siblings. The murder of our father has impacted us on so many levels and in different ways. I myself, for the first year, would wake up screaming every morning or night, wishing I was having a nightmare, only to wake up to remember all over again that my father is gone and I'll never be able to hear him say he loves me ever again. To know my siblings have been affected in such a way that they are now different. They have had a piece of their heart ripped away from them, all while her son gets to hear his mother's voice and see her alive is pathetic. Because of you, Sarah, my sister is heartbroken. Because of you, Sarah, my brother is left wondering when he will ever see his father again. The loss of my father has left me with chronic depression and anxiety. Seeing any moments of fatherly love or kindness being shown between others in real life or even on TV leaves me in complete shambles. Seeking therapy was a must in order to navigate through my workday without a random breakdown. Thoughts of my father's demise still enter my mind ever so often. I'm left either angry, sad, or sick to my stomach to think of how his final moments were. George Torres, my incredible father. Not only was he my father, but my best friend. My personal comic provided me with wisdom and knowledge, creative and loving dad, an older brother, an uncle, a cousin, a friend, a son, and above all, our father. He was human and deserved to be treated as such. My father, George Torres, was one of a kind, an absolute gem. Unfortunately, his light was dimmed on earth by evilness, but with us, we will forever make his name live on. Especially Sarah, I pray that you see his face when you see him at night. That is it.
Thank you. Anything further, State? Anything further of this witness? All right, thank you, ma'am. State,
Thank you.
Anything
That was
further?
brief.
No other impact statements, Your Honor.
Thank you. Any other witnesses or evidence at this point in time, State?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Owens, you may proceed, sir.
Ms. Diane Smith. Judge, what do you want me?
I have no issue with her being at the podium. If you want to move about the well to conduct your examination, that's fine, counselor. Ma'am, come on up.
Who's he asking questions of?
Come on up to this podium right here, ma'am. If you could, raise your right hand. Madam Clerk's going to go ahead and swear you in.
So weird that the clerk swears them in.
Could you state and spell your name for the record for us?
Diane Smith, D-I-A-N-E-S-M-I-T-H.
Okay, thank you very much. Counselor, you may inquire.
And Ms. Smith, tell the court a little bit about you.
I was a chaplain at the 33rd Street Jail for 30 years.
And have you been a chaplain at the jail here in Orange County?
Yes, Orange County Jail
Is that the same
for
jail
30
you're
years.
referring to? Okay. And during that period of time, did you have occasion to meet with Sarah Boone?
I did.
And was it over the course of how long?
I've known her 4 years.
And if you could, tell the court what you'd like to say.
Okay. Well, I first met Sarah. She came in, we have a Christian dorm, and Sarah enrolled in our Christian program. And she was in my classes for a year. And she was very sincere in her efforts to change her life and to be a better person. And I found her very helpful. She was kind and good to people. She loved to serve. And she helped the new girls that would come in, the young girls. She would mother them and be very kind and very helpful. And then after she graduated from the program, I was her counselor for the other 3 years. And I always found her, very sincere and, trying to do better. I spoke with many inmates that knew her and was associated with her. And they spoke very highly of her and said that, she was helpful and kind and tried to help other people. And I just found her to be, very sincere and trying to be a very good person and change and help people.
Was the Bible involved at all?
Oh, yes, it was all spiritual. That's our, yes, it was spiritual growth plus character, growth and character, trying to just be a better person in general. She liked to serve other people, she would help the girls wash their clothes and show them around and teach, but spiritually, she grew very, very great spiritually.
Thank you.
Hang on, ma'am, just 1 second.
Ma'am?
Hang on just 1 second, Ms. Smith. State, any questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, ma'am, I appreciate you.
I'd like to call Christina Pena.
Counselor. Thank you. Ma'am, come on up if you can. Raise your right hand. Madam Clerk's going to go ahead and swear you in.
Do solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes.
Ma'am, if you could state and spell your name for the record for us.
Christina Pena, Christina Pena.
All right, you may inquire, sir.
Ms. Penna, how old are you?
31,
And where do you live?
Orlando.
Now, it's my understanding, Ms. Penna, that you were in the county jail with Sarah Boone.
Yes.
How long were y'all in the same cell together?
Yes, I was in there for 4 years, but we were together for 3.
Okay. And I understand ultimately the charges against you were dismissed?
Yes.
And so you were released on what day?
April 4th this year, I think.
2024?
2023.
2023. So you've been out for a pretty while.
I've been out for like 6 or so months now. Yeah, since April of this year, actually. Sorry.
April of 2024. And you said y'all were bunkmates there together for about 3 years?
Yeah.
I would assume that y'all got to know each other pretty well.
We did.
Okay. And if you could, if you'd like to speak on her behalf to the judge.
Yes. Sarah's one of my best friends, my only.
You take your time.
She's helped me with a lot. Spiritually and like growing, and she helps everybody. She's always, I don't know, spirit. She helped me a lot, and she would come to me. She talked to me all the time and pick me up when I was down, or if I didn't know something. She's good. I don't know. She was a good person to me. Mistakes happen. She always helped. She always helped people. She was always helping everybody in the dorm. Even like her artwork, she did art. If anybody needed any help or needed anything, they'd come to her and she'd help them. And even if they, did wrong to her, she would still go back and help them and praise with them and pray over them and everything. It's just
Ew.
How much older is she? 40. Did you think of her as maybe an aunt or a big sister?
A big sister, yeah. She was like a big sister, like a sister I never had. Because I have brothers, so I never we clicked right away. I don't know. We'd be walking out in the backyard, and she just would always try and talk to me, but I'm a quiet person, and I don't trust a lot of people. So for me to open up and trust somebody, it's a lot. So.
And obviously y'all were there under difficult circumstances. Did she assist you in getting through that?
Yes, and she helped me a lot with my my case, and I would help her with with hers too. We're both. Justice is not what it is. I don't know how.
Bless you.
We both helped each other out.
Yeah, Ben, she helped people do art.
Any questions, State? All right, thank you, ma'am. I appreciate you.
Obviously, we should let her go. She does art and she's helpful. It's crazy to me, like, that all so far of her character witnesses have been in jail. So no one who knew her before jail wants to come tell us how great she is? Okay. Oh, Miss Hill has nice hair.
Ma'am, good afternoon. Could you state and spell your name for the record for us?
Mariela Hill, M-A-R-I-E-L-A, last name Hill, H-I-L-L.
Thank you. You may proceed, sir.
So briefly tell us a little bit about yourself.
I met Sarah in jail.
This was in the Orange County Jail here in Orlando?
Orange County Jail.
And when would that have been? Do you recall the dates?
Yes, it was April, from April to June.
this year?
2024, correct. Yes.
And did you develop a relationship with Sarah Boone over the course of that 3 months?
Yes. Yes. We met when I was new to the dorm, and I needed help with when I needed to complete one of the skills to help me out. And since that moment, we became really good friends. She was so helpful, so kind.
Yeah, because she knows she's facing 22 years.
State any questions?
No.
Thank you, Ms. Hill. I appreciate it.
Wow, what a waste of time. Oh, she's a cute little lady.
Ms. Albert, good afternoon, ma'am. Can you hear me? This is Judge Kranick, and if you can, I would ask you to turn on your camera and unmute yourself at this time, please.
Sir, how do I unmute my, or turn on my camera? I know how to unmute, but I'm not sure how to turn the camera on.
This is why Zoom is such a pain in the ass.
Is that better?
No.
When you join the link, there should have been an option for like a pull down on the left-hand side of the screen for you to open on or turn on a camera. I don't know what device you're appearing on, if it's a cell phone or a laptop.
It is an iPhone. Should I try
Jesus.
to re-enter the room?
God, she's so loud.
Okay, let me just give me 1 second.
Since April of 2020, this has been my life. Okay, like every day, like you should be able to click the unmute button or the join with this. Ugh. If you know you're going to be in court on Zoom, why don't you download Zoom earlier and practice? I tell my clients, go practice. Ugh. Oh yeah, of course. If I was the DA, I would say, since you do art, let me paint this picture of you, a guilty woman. Listen, if no one that knew you before you killed this guy is gonna come vouch for you, then don't be having people come vouch. We don't have the chaplain of the jail and your 2 cellies come say how great. You're just 2 felons saying how great you are. I mean, come on, guys.
Did that work? Can you see me?
Nope.
Shoot. Yeah, it's saying default camera. It's saying front camera. I chose it. It didn't show my face or anything like that.
This is the story of my damn life, y'all.
State? Okay, appreciate it. All right, Miss Albert, good afternoon. If you could just state and spell your name for the record for us, please.
Certainly. Lana, L-A-N-A, Albert, A-L-B-E-R-T.
Just gonna ask you some questions.
Hey, Clifton.
Just answer them, ma'am. I would greatly appreciate it. Sir, you
Miss Albert, do you have the ability to turn your volume down?
Yes. I can't hear you very well when I do that, though.
Can't hear me?
I can hear you, but very, very quietly.
How about now?
Yes, I can hear you. Am I okay?
Yeah, you're fine.
You sound a lot better. You were too loud earlier.
Yeah, you're loud as shit.
Okay.
Can you hear me okay?
Oh my God. She said yes.
All right, Miss Albert, tell the court a little bit about yourself briefly.
Well, I live in Minnesota. I currently have end-stage renal disease. Before I became disabled, I was a business owner in the Twin Cities here.
All right, and how old are you?
I am 50 years old.
And you're considered disabled?
Yes, I am.
That sucks.
And have you had an occasion since this event to establish a relationship with Sarah Boone?
Yes, Yes, I have. We have been friends for the past a little over 11 months.
And how do y'all communicate?
We've communicated a lot of phone calls, lots of tablet, back and forth, and a lot of letters as well. I'd say many hours of time spent with each other.
All right, and you want to speak on her behalf here today?
I would, please.
All right, would you please tell the court what you would like for the court to know?
Thank you very much, and thank you very much, Your Honor, for the privilege of speaking on behalf of my friend Sarah Boone. I also want to extend my heartfelt condolences to everyone here affected by this terrible tragedy, which has brought us all here and listening in. Many articles and videos and opinions of Sarah have gone out in the airways and on the webs. Opinions that have been formed and commented on so much that it's hard not to give into the temptation to treat people like a comic book or a fictional character. In the case of my friend Sarah, the words narcissist, Karen, villain, many other things, they roll off the tongue with little regard to the humanity that is dismissed so flippantly. And under a lot of circumstances, I was one of those people, as I have a love of true crime, and becoming friends with Sarah has shown me that there's a lot more depth to the people I see on the screen.
Oh my God.
I'd like to share with the world and with the court about the Sarah Boone that I know.
Oh, please don't.
Sarah Boone is a kind, honest, and good person.
Uh-uh.
The Sarah Boone I know is one who loves animals, especially the kind who are damaged and defenseless. How many of us would take in and pour love for a hearing-impaired and a sight-impaired pair of dogs? She has a natural instinct to help reach out and give of herself. Her time and energy and love especially to those who are hurting or damaged. You all have seen her fight for her own life and truth here. I tell you this, she fights even harder for those she loves, giving time, attention, and companionship without a single thought for her own gain or what somebody can do for her. And one huge example is in the matter of our friendship. As I said before, I have end-stage renal disease caused by a genetic illness called polycystic kidney disease. As my life has progressed, things I have taken for granted have been taken away from me. I could not appear in court in person because I can no longer walk, as my dialysis treatments have affected the circulation of my legs and has confined me to a wheelchair. To say that my life has radically changed is an understatement. Through it all, I have many friends and family I love and cherish. Sarah has distinguished herself differently in this way. In the course of getting to know her, I started sharing the progressing state of my health. It was like lightning had struck her. The moment Sarah had learned the depth of my struggles health-wise, she straight up offered strenuously to donate a kidney to me. I gotta tell you this, I hope she's not mad for me showing this, but she had no hesitation, no concern over personal risk or personal gain. I want to convey to this, out and around the world, that is merely offering is a good and heroic act. I've had many friends. I've not had one outside of my brother who has offered me a kidney. That is huge.
I mean, not really. She's in prison.
To give to her. And that's not the actions of a narcissist. She did it as a reflex action, as a good person. After the verdict came in October, we spoke that night. And I hope Sarah doesn't get mad at me again for disclosing this, but
Oh my God.
out of all the shock and seriousness of what had happened in the court, the thing that made her emotionally break was that she realized she could no longer be a donor to me. I mean, I was sitting there like, hey, you know, it's gonna be okay. But she was so broken up, she couldn't help me. That's a friend. She is not, nor does she come up anywhere remotely close to being a narcissist.
Streets is watching.
Before I go, social media has worked to rip the blindfold off of Lady Justice, to take the sword out of her right hand and start assassinating Sarah's character. However, the scales are the balance. As it says in Psalm 85, mercy and truth are met together. Righteousness and peace have kissed each other. Justice isn't justice without mercy. Our pursuit of righteousness isn't complete and right without peace. Thank you, Your Honor, for the honor of speaking for my friend Sarah Boone.
No, thank
I
you
hope that
for
your justice
wasting your time.
is mixed with mercy here today. Thank you.
No.
Any follow-up, Mr.
No.
No, Judge.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Albert. I appreciate you.
I'd like to call Dr. Harper.
Jesus Christ.
I'm okay with her on the stand. On the stand? She can be right there. Yes, sir. Be right there. Yes, sir.
Not a single person that knew her before she committed the crime.
No, she'd be at the podium. That's Doctor, good afternoon. If you could please raise your right hand. Madam Clerk's going to go ahead and swear you in.
Oh my God, they need to hurry up. They need to hurry up. I'm late.
Counselor, you may begin.
I think that during trial testimony, I reviewed all of the documents, excuse me, and all of the records that were available. They're documented in my report as well. In addition to the forensic clinical interviews that I conducted, I also have had the opportunity to talk to her brother, Philip Paulson, in the interim since the trial, and I included his information in my report as to her family background.
One of her brothers is in prison.
So referring to the summary section of my report, I'll keep it brief, but I'll outline the highlights that I feel like haven't been conveyed before, which is an understanding of Ms. Boone's early family life, in that she is the middle child of her parents' union, and that her parents did not have a happy marriage. They didn't provide an opportunity to have a good role model as to how to have a partnership together. Ms. Boone was born in close proximity to her youngest brother, 11 months apart. And in my clinical experience and training, I would say that that disrupted her attachment with her mother, some being close in proximity with her younger brother, whose temperament just seemed to suit a relationship with her mother better than her own. So ultimately, Ms. Boone bonded with her father, though he wasn't described by either child as an affectionate person. He was somebody that was there for her at sporting events, more of a primary parent for her in that way. His untimely death by heart attack during her high school years was marked by her brother as a turning point for her in how she was acting at home, her demeanor, her relationship with her mother took a turn for the worse.
That'll do it.
She was not coping well. She was using substances based on what her brother was saying. And it is my opinion that that early lack of foundational relations with her mom and not feeling very secure, the death of her father, destabilized her. That's a period of your life when you're leaving high school, when you should have formed a very solid foundation to go out in the world. And I don't think that that's what she had at that moment. She bonded easily with Mr. Boone, and you can see that there are elements of that early difficulty with her relationships because she took on a parentified role, in my opinion, during that relationship. And therefore, there's a power imbalance in that she was making decisions and not, again, having an equal relationship. I think that that led her to a sense of being a need to be right, a need to feel like she is the one that's making good decisions, to
have some ego support by being in the right all the time with Mr. Boone. And I think that led to some behaviors that she carried over into her relationship with Mr. Torres, in that she's parentified around him and acting more like a parent-child relationship, being the facilitator of housing and applications for jobs and things like that. So again, there's a power imbalance.
What kind of parent zips their child into the suitcase and leaves them there?
Very seriously.
Just like name 2 parents, you know, that have zipped their child into a suitcase and left them there.
Their apartment had verified they saw her being abused, physically abused in serious ways, or the effects of the abuse in bruising or calls to them. It is my opinion that she called for help, but when people got tired of her not leaving Mr. Torres, they stopped responding to those calls. And basically, Ms. Boone handled things on her own. And as other people with healthier boundaries probably would have left, she acting out the pattern of intimate partner violence did not leave. She stayed long past when it would have been smart for others, or others would have said to leave, sorry. The undergirding of that not leaving the relationship is a long-term anxiety problem that became post-traumatic stress disorder. There is an earlier instance of exposure to traumatic stress in that she was the person in the hospital after her father died who found him having students perform CPR on his dead body. So that was an early exposure to high traumatic stress, witnessing that incident, and based on her brother's description, that was something that changed her. When a person is exposed to numerous compounding stressors, their adrenaline system is changed. It alters your body. And things that might be an otherwise neutral situation, you tend to have a cascading adrenaline response to that. And I think that that ultimately, for her, as she succumbed to other instances of serious physical abuse from her partner, became post-traumatic stress disorder. I do think that that is a condition that is still existent even while she's in jail. It's something that she needs treatment for, because those triggers are unmitigated, meaning that she hasn't really had the kind of therapy to address them and reduce her adrenaline and anxiety responses when she thinks of past instances of traumatic events that have happened to her. You can also respond to post-traumatic stress disorder clinically by using antidepressant therapy, and that would be something that could assist her ultimately in reducing symptoms if she had counseling and antidepressant therapy.
Now, Dr. Harper, I know that you had testified at the trial that, in your opinion, she suffered as a battered spouse, the syndrome that is legally recognized in Florida, in the courts of Florida.
That's correct.
And I understand that that is tied to this intimate partner violence, which is maybe the same thing, but there's a complex mental health issue that ties into that. Can you speak on the complexity of that whole cycle that one such as Sarah Boone and George Torres were involved in?
Certainly. So intimate partner violence is not a diagnosis. It's a pattern of events that occur between two partners in which the power dynamic is altered by the physical abuse or behaviors that are controlling in nature to the point that someone's safety is threatened. It's common for victims of that to have a complex mental health condition, often including depression, anxiety, and substance abuse problems. And what might be substance abuse to cope with the problem, like numbing oneself, will sometimes result in its own diagnosis. The pattern of intimate partner violence, I think we covered in the trial, but just in summary about that, there are phases in which at first the bonding of the two partners might be something positive. They've got something in common or have pleasurable time together. And then the secondary phase of that is when there is change in dynamic and some kind of traumatic event occurs, some instance of physical violence. And then there's a third phase in which it's like a honeymoon phase where they're trying to right the relationship. So in phase 1, when they're having something pleasurable, the tone shifts. Phase 2, there is some kind of incident. And phase 3, there's a honeymoon phase. As that pertains to anxiety, I think that a person who suffers from intimate partner violence never stops experiencing that hypervigilance, waiting for the next instance of violence to occur. So even though they may look happy, they might be experiencing something positive, they've not really relaxed because their memory that that could or will occur again is still in their mind. So they haven't fully stopped experiencing intimate partner violence. It's just what phase of the process they're in.
Now, and Dr. Harper, it goes into more detail in your report, which I supplied to the court, which is a total of 11 pages, and I believe that's confidential document that's been filed.
That's what's been marked. I don't believe it's been filed in the court file.
Okay.
If it has, that's something if it needs to be, it's something we can address. I have reviewed it. It does reflect confidential privilege information on the first page. I don't believe it's been filed in the court file unless you did it. Okay. It already has been? All right, appreciate it.
Under seal.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, sir.
And Dr. Harper, you're aware that the defense has filed a defendant's motion for downward departure.
Yes.
And we've listed several factors under paragraph 3, the capacity of the defendant to appreciate the criminal nature of her actions and conform with the requirements of law were substantially impaired, that she requires specialized treatment for a mental disorder that is not related to substance use or addiction, although you agree that she does suffer from alcohol use disorder.
So she has an underlying mental health disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, and I additionally diagnosed her with alcohol use disorder, which is separate.
But you agree she does require specialized treatment for a mental disorder that's not related to the substance use or addiction?
That's correct.
And you agree she's amenable for treatment?
Yes.
And you would agree that she acted under extreme duress in this unique homicide case? You would agree that the uniqueness of the circumstances, the facts and circumstances surrounding the case, the offense was committed in an unsophisticated manner?
Yes.
It was isolated.
That's my understanding as well.
Other than she had the charge, which both of them were charged at one time, and I think she had the strangulation allegation, the felony case that was ultimately dismissed when both of them were arrested.
She had a prior felony case. That's different.
Char V, welcome to me. Welcome. Thank you for joining. The judge of a defense attorney is to justify the actions of the defendant. Oh, that's my hair clip. Sorry. So this is the defense's witness, and this witness is trying to help.
Yes, that's fine.
This witness is trying to help mitigate the amount of time Sarah spends in jail. So, in particular, this witness is being used to try to make it so she doesn't spend 24 years in jail.
Pages 1 and 2 of your report, you go through the sources of your information, correct? And that would include 8 interviews that you had with her from the course of August of 2020 through September of 2024, correct?
There were 9 interviews, but 8 dates of service are listed.
You did the Miller Forensic Assessment of Symptoms Test, or MFAST.
That's right.
Inventory of Legal Knowledge, ILK.
That's right.
Clinician Administered PTSD Scale 5 examination.
Yes.
You consulted with her attorney.
Yes.
Videotaped interviews from this court case number of Sarah Boone, interview part 1 and 2, Abraham Moreno interview, Brandon Motes interview, Brian Boone interview, Juan Torres interview, and Melissa Sexton interview, correct?
Yes.
You reviewed the autopsy photos?
Yes.
You reviewed some of the digital forensic exhibits, including the Apple iPhone XS and a Samsung SMJ 327 T1 photographs from those 2 devices?
Yes.
You reviewed Bates stamped discovery pages 1 through 413.
That's correct.
The crime scene photos are photos of scene taken on June 19th of 2020.
Yes.
Aspire Health records.
Yes.
And who do those pertain to?
Aspire Health records are for Sarah Boone.
Florida Hospital Medical Group records?
Yes.
And who do those records pertain to?
That is also for Sarah Boone.
And Aspire, is that a mental health treatment facility?
It has an emergency department record, but that would be the place where she was detained under the Baker Act.
And it is routine and common in the practice of forensic psychology or psychiatry to rely on the records of other such practitioners.
As a source of information, sure.
You reviewed the deposition of Dr. Tanya Warner.
I did.
You reviewed the trial testimony of Sarah Boone, Brian Boone, Dr. Michael Brannon, Dr. Tanya Werner, correct?
Yes.
The jury verdict form dated 10/25/24.
Yes.
Witness list notice of filing amended
Yes.
on this case. Records of Jorge Torres or George Torres involving case numbers 2019 MM 5114, a 911 call and PDF, case 2019 MM 7193, case 2019 MM 7193 Torres Public Records, case 2019 MM 7193 Torres Photos, Central Florida Primary Care Records, Advent Health Orlando Medical Records, correct?
Yes.
And those latter records that I just mentioned, those for Mr. Torres and not Ms. Boone, correct?
That's right.
Then you reviewed Sarah Boone written correspondence, Sarah's listing of domestic violence incidents, Sarah's writings regarding missing days of work and Baker Act, and a 74-page life story.
That's right.
And then case 2018 CF 10573, public records and photos,
Yes.
and a telephone interview with Melissa.
All right, so most of this is just procedural, going through, making sure it's all covered. What I hate is that I have to go. That is what I hate. Hold on, let's just, hold on, we'll just go back.
26, 2024. Where has Ms. Boone been housed and living since February of 2020?
At the Orange County Jail.
And does the Orange County Jail provide mental health services to inmates?
It does.
And you already testified you would routinely, as a forensic psychologist, review records kept of psychological or psychiatric treatment of a patient or a client, correct?
Yes.
In this particular case, have you reviewed any mental health records generated by the Orange County Jail for...
Okay. I'm sorry, guys. The judge was so fucking late. I gotta go. I'm supposed to be actually physically at my home right now at 2 o'clock for someone to pick me up, and it's 2:08 and I'm nowhere near home. So thank you for joining me. I'll catch the tail end and find out what sentencing she gets, and I'll update you later on it.